everyone, you're on the C Margil Electro channel.
My name is Grigory,
And this is a review of the premium electric sport bike Lietuo. Today we're trying out a slightly new video format where I go to do tests, test the bike, and spend a few days there. We are here at the factory, but then I usually film the host segments indoors afterwards, because unfortunately, or maybe even fortunately, the Chinese summer is exactly like this. It is consistently between 35 and 41 degrees outside, so after finishing the tests, there's absolutely no desire left to record any more videos outdoors in that heat. So, please let me know in the comments what you think of this specific format where we perform the tests and show you the raw test footage, but then talk about it all away from the equipment in a cooler environment. A bit of background. The factory that produces the Lietuo electric sport bike mainly specializes in electric motors for brands like Geely or Zeekr. Scooters and motorcycles, both gasoline and electric, are their side business. In addition to the electric version of the Lietuo, they also produce a gasoline version, which, as far as I remember, is either 500 or 600cc. They also manufacture electric ADV scooters as well as their traditional gasoline-powered counterparts. And in 2025, at the Canton Fair, they officially announced a new electric chopper based on the Lietuo, but with a completely new unique design and a much larger battery capacity. I'm looking forward to the tests in 2026. The first electric Lietuo was produced back in 2024. It came to us for a test drive in Moscow, and I rode it. To be honest with you, we wanted to film a review of it, but unfortunately, we never finished because we discovered quite a lot of significant flaws. To begin with, its acceleration dynamics didn't match the specifications at all. Even the top speed was about 20 km per hour slower than what was claimed. There were also issues like the handlebars being far too wide, which made it quite difficult to ride properly between lanes of traffic. A downside is the wide handlebars. Perhaps quite a few people might disagree with me, but honestly, I truly do not understand the reason why a sport bike needs such wide handlebars. I mean, I have pretty big hands. And I'll show you right now on camera. When I grab it now, I still have about 5 centimeters of extra space remaining. These metal grips don't stick out. Well, maybe, yeah, it is for the sliders and all of those other components. But if you remove them, nothing changes, except that your handlebars will become narrower. Although your levers will still stick out a lot, the brake levers. So ideally, I'd like to shorten it here by 5 centimeters. Both in length, the width of the handlebars, and the brake levers. I mean 5 centimeters on each side, so 10 in total. Because the handlebars here are just insanely wide. You especially feel it when maneuvering between narrow traffic lanes. And there's this particular challenging test called the exit from the Simago Electro store. I carefully ride my bike out through the main door. And all the motorcycles pass through without any problem, but the Lietuo, it's just like hell trying to get it through there. When you try to squeeze it through the door, so the handlebars here, specifically the width, is definitely a downside in my opinion. I'll try to negotiate with the factory to have this fixed. The guys seem reasonable and open to communication, so I think we'll be able to resolve this issue. The unfinished glove compartment and the quality of its paintwork also left much to be desired. However, if they hadn't fixed all of this, I wouldn't be making this video for you right now. The Vito electric motorcycle has an original design. The mold for this motorcycle is owned exclusively by this factory. And absolutely no other manufacturer in China can make a copy of this bike under any circumstances. The quality is also top tier, because the bike recently received EU certification, and for that the Chinese had to bring its quality up to meet European standards. At the moment, a variety of color schemes are available: blue with black, black with neon color accents, white with red color accents, white with yellow color accents, and white with black and blue colors. The Lietuo electric motorcycle, unlike most of its Chinese counterparts, has a full-size frame. As for the bike's weight distribution, everything feels very well balanced and nice. Just like on police electric bikes, the battery is located at the very bottom. On top, we have a convenient glove compartment, which is currently empty, and the overall paint job is simply gorgeous. This is basically the case with almost any electric bike that you might come across. The only exception to this is the YD-E5. Because it has a particularly tall battery, the paint job actually looks a bit unusual. But with almost all other electric bikes, the paint job is always excellent. The dimensions of the motorcycle are 207, 85 by 116 centimeters. The seat height measures 79 centimeters. The wheelbase is 140 centimeters, ground clearance is 21 centimeters, and the bike itself has a total weight of about 200 kilograms. The suspension here is also excellent. In the front, there's an inverted adjustable motorcycle fork, and in the rear, an adjustable monoshock. Both the front and rear wheels are 17 inches. And there are tubeless tires. In the front, 120 by 60 on 17, and in the rear, 150 by 60 on 17. The braking system is hydraulic disc brakes. In the front, there are two dual piston calipers and floating brake discs, while in the rear, there's a single piston caliper with a standard brake disc. By the way, both the front and rear have ABS, and traction control is also active. The engine installed on the Lietuo is water-cooled with 12,000 RPM and 62 Newton meters of torque. By the way, the coolant reservoir is located under the right handlebar. The claimed top speed is 160 km per hour, but according to GPS, it managed to reach as much as 163 km per hour. The claimed acceleration is 5.5 seconds to 100 km per hour. However, I tested 0 to 100 many times, and the average result was 6.4 to 6.5 seconds. Only once was I able to accelerate faster than 6 seconds, and that was 5.8. And even then, it was actually going slightly downhill. The battery installed is an NCM unit, 144 volts and 73 amp hours, which is about 10.5 kilowatt hours. The range they promise is up to 300 kilometers in eco mode at a constant speed of 45 kilometers per hour, with a small Chinese girl on board. In real conditions, you can expect about 150 to 200 kilometers. By the way, there is a bit of regenerative braking when you release the throttle. Speaking of regenerative braking, I just talked to the guys at the factory and found out in the end. So it does exist. It works. You release the throttle. However, on this specific new model, right as I released the throttle, I noticed that on this version it's quite a bit weaker than on the previous generation, the old model. Yes, it definitely kicks in, and you can certainly notice it. But it does so much more slowly and gradually than the old model ever did. There isn't really an electric brake here as such. Essentially, this was implemented specifically in order to marginally expand the range. I specifically asked them if it could be adjusted, but they told me no, there's no such option available. So they just left it feeling soft and light like this. It's not meant to be used as a brake, but rather as a way to increase the driving range. For low voltage systems in the electric motorcycle, a gel battery is installed under the seat, powered by a DC-DC converter connected to the main battery. The terminals are disconnected from it during storage and transportation so that the bike can be completely de-energized. The lithium battery charges in 2 to 5 hours, depending on the current. The maximum power of the charger is 170 volts, 30 amps, which is 5 kilowatts. This is an external charger. Unfortunately, charging from an electric car charging station is not supported. This is probably one of the few drawbacks of this bike, since it is in the premium price segment. The seating position on the Lietuo electric motorcycle is comfortable. It's not exactly a sport bike, it's more like those semi-urban sport bikes, like the Ninti 300cc, so you're not sitting in a shrimp-like position. The only nuance that really bothers me about the seating arrangement is the steep angle of the tank itself. Let me explain this in a bit more detail. I recorded a video about this, I'll show you now. Some nuances about the seating position. Because the tank here has a steep angle, your balls, let's say, get pressed against it harder than on other semi-sport motorcycles. More nuances. Right here, there is some side plastic here, and if you have long legs, which you probably do unless you're only 1 meter 50 tall, you will find that your knee constantly presses right against that hard plastic surface. It's not exactly comfortable. Maybe with gear on you won't feel it, but right now I'm sitting here in shorts. Don't try this at home. I'm wearing shorts because I traveled to another city and it's plus 35 degrees outside, so I didn't want to bring all my gear. So if for some reason you're riding your motorcycle without any protective gear, without motorcycle pants I mean, then your leg presses right against this hard plastic part. Well, it's definitely not a very comfortable experience when you try to grip the bike firmly with your legs. Whether you're leaning into a turn or doing some silly stuff like riding no hands, you can really feel it. Is that pressure from the plastic? Damn, I'm telling you, this is already the second time I've been out riding today, and for the second time now, I'm sitting here thinking that the riding position is just really uncomfortable for me because my balls are getting pressed way too much. And actually, yeah, exactly. So when I finally get back, I'll get off the bike and show you what I mean. Now, what was I saying about that sharp protruding plastic? Alright, I'll park now and show you what I mean. So, look, I have actually just completely stopped now. And right here, this spot right here, it then gets firmly pressed against this small plastic part right here. And well, obviously my leg is high up, it's positioned like this. So if you were shorter, your leg could fit underneath it, but you'd have to be really quite short for that. As it is, your leg ends up resting right on this edge. There's just no other way. And the instep is high. Or rather, not high, but there's a sharp angle right away. The glove compartments rise and your bits end up pressing against it. Those are the little nuances. And on the display of the Lietuo electric motorcycle, you can connect your phone and project its screen onto the motorcycle's display. This way you can easily turn on things like Yandex Maps, Google Maps, navigation, and use them without any problem. But unfortunately, aside from that, there aren't any other features in the display. There are only basic settings. Lietuo is also equipped with keyless entry and cruise control. But unfortunately, the cruise control doesn't work like it does on the Arizona or the Yadia. That is, you set the cruise control at a certain speed, and if you want to increase or decrease that speed, you have to turn off the cruise control and then adjust the speed using the throttle or the brake levers. And then you have to set the cruise control again. Hands-free, damn, what is that? Is that what cruise control means? The crossed out one with the C? So you can't increase it in any way? I mean, it's not like on the Yadia where you turn it on and can increase or decrease the speed. You will need to decelerate the vehicle, accelerate again, or, I don't know, reset the speed, and then manually press the cruise control button one more time. But in principle, it's still more convenient than not having it at all. Well, maybe having an adjustable cruise control for speed is already overkill. What do you think? Write in the comments. Oh, it feels nice and breezy there. At 35 degrees, that is just an absolutely amazing feeling. So, question. Sometimes the cruise control disengages on its own. Here, everything is fine with that. Let's try again. Cruise control and hitting the brake disengages it. When you are using the cruise control system, you have the right brake lever right here. Generally speaking, simply applying the brake will immediately disengage the cruise control for your safety. Based on everything I have seen so far, the cruise control is functioning exactly as it should and is working perfectly fine. Having cruise control is honestly such a cool and convenient feature to have on a ride, and being able to cruise along like this feels absolutely fantastic and makes the whole experience feel truly great. The most important thing is not to get too carried away, especially when you're driving near large trucks. As for the lighting on this electric bike, there are absolutely no complaints. Everything is done really well. All the headlights are LED, the turn signals look very stylish, and are also duplicated on the rear view mirrors. Among the nice bonuses of the Lietuo electric motorcycle, there's a USB port included as standard, so you can charge your gadget. Although there's really no point in charging your gadget, since you can simply project your phone onto the motorcycle's display and use it for navigation. Although it's possible that your phone will still lose charge while doing this. And its main feature, which sets it apart from other electric bikes, is a large, spacious glove compartment in the tank, where you can even fit a helmet, which is extremely rare to find. Of the bikes I remember, probably only the QJ can fit a helmet. QJ RX 5000. Now let's go over the controls on the left side. On the handlebar here, we have a control panel, and this is for switching between low and high beam with a toggle switch, like this. This way we can flash the high beam. Below that are ABS, TCS and traction controls. How does the traction control work? I showed it. ABS basically turns the ABS on or off. TCS turns the TCS on or off. Next, the control panel is on the left. End mode set. If we press it once, we enter phone synchronization mode. If the phone is not connected, a QR code pops up like this to download the app. If the phone is connected, the phone screen appears. To go back, press the mode button. If we hold down the end button, this kind of menu will appear. With the set button, you can scroll down with the button and use mode to enter the desired item. In this section, we can find detailed information about the vehicle, the current time, various settings, units, switching between miles and kilometers, language options, English or Chinese, display brightness, Bluetooth connection, and the connection to tire pressure sensors. It also displays any specific tire pressure errors. And basically, there's nothing much else to see in the exit menu. Next, on the left control panel, there are the standard turn signal indicators for left and right, and the horn. Over here on the right side to demonstrate how it works. Now I'll hop on the bike for you. So here we have the P and R buttons. P. This is for parking. To disengage it, first you need to retract the kickstand. If the kickstand is down, the bike won't come out of parking mode, even if you really want it to. We squeeze the brake, press once, parking is disengaged, the riding modes appear, the reverse button, and basically we just hold it down. Right now on the new version, there's an issue before shipping, they'll reflash it and it will work normally. Under normal circumstances, you would typically just hold the button down and it would immediately start moving backward. But right now you actually have to hold it for a full 3 seconds before it starts to respond. And now it's moving backward. Once it's fixed, it will either work immediately or after holding for just 1 second. Next, here we have the glove compartment release. Inside, there is actually an electronic lock, by the way. It is quite interesting to see how the hazard lights and the mode switching features are set up and arranged. We press this button. Normal, Sport, and Eco modes switch places in the sequence, meaning it cycles forward and backward. You can easily scroll through the entire list at your own pace. In addition to this, right here we have a lock that is designed to operate in 2 distinct modes. Let's look at the first option. You can simply insert the key. This complete set includes 2 keys with Bluetooth tracking tags, but if you have the Bluetooth tag with you, say inside your pocket, and you are standing near the bike and you press the unlock button, you can use the keyless access feature. As you can see right now, the system is on. Press the center and turn it back. The bike will now turn off. To lock the handlebars, you need to all the way. And now, as a result, the handlebars are completely locked. By using the buttons on the key, you can easily press to lock or unlock the vehicle. Once it has been successfully unlocked, you can even turn the ignition switch without inserting the key, and your bike immediately turns on and is ready to ride. Done. Also, under the handlebars on the left, there is a USB port, 2 amps, 5 volts, for a single socket. As for the glove compartment, there is a button. You press it only when the bike is turned on. When the bike is off, you simply cannot open the glove compartment at all. We open it up and here we finally have the finished final version of the glove compartment. It's very large and quite spacious. Basically, almost any helmet will fit in there. I used to have some complaints about the very first bike that arrived here to us. It had a very strange lining here, and you could see the inner layer of unpainted plastic. Overall, it wasn't great. Now they've finished everything nicely and even added a seal, which I had asked for. Granted, it's not exactly how I wanted it, but it's still pretty good. There is a groove here, a groove over here, and another groove in the lid. They inserted these rubber, honestly, I am not even sure what to call them, rubber sticks. And now when you close it, it fits tightly, doesn't wobble, and doesn't rattle. So finally, the glove compartment on the Ito is finished. What do we see on the display? Here is the current speed, which is also duplicated. You can look at the scale here, or you can look at the number. Tire pressure sensors. Front, rear. Tripping kilometers. You can switch to ODO. Battery charge is also shown as a number and as a scale. I don't know why they duplicate each other, but that's how it is. At the top, we have icons for low and high beam, ABS, and TCS. And this is the deployed kickstand. And the time, as I already showed in the display settings, you can set it up. They're like on the Yadi Akins, where they're set at the factory with a shot. Then you just enjoy it. If this video review happens to be the first video you're watching about electric motorcycles, I also want to point out that electric motorcycles are easy to handle. All the controls are at your fingertips, your legs are completely free, and you don't need to squeeze anything. No clutch, no clicking gears with your feet, none of that, just forget about it entirely. And on top of that, the motorcycle won't stall if you shift gears incorrectly, unlike with gasoline bikes. Another advantage is that the motorcycle doesn't make noise, doesn't emit smoke, doesn't smell, and your clothes always stay clean. And another major benefit is that the electric motorcycle doesn't overheat, which means that at a traffic light, in the summer heat, even at 35 degrees Celsius, your nether regions will thank you. And now, let's get back to the review of the Lietuo electric motorcycle. Let's talk about the drawbacks. There are some, of course. As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't have fast charging ports for electric vehicle stations. That's the first drawback. Second, in the early stages it had exceptionally poor quality paintwork, but this drawback has now been completely resolved. Third, it had an exceptionally wide handlebar. For some reason they originally put unusually large handlebar sliders on the bike. I don't know, maybe 5 centimeters or so, just massive. Now they have scaled them down to 2 centimeters. As a result, the handlebar instantly became 6 centimeters narrower. Now everything is great, so again, just like a scooter and lane splitting. Shortening the handlebar for us makes it feel more comfortable when lane splitting. Wonderful. The fourth and fifth drawbacks are things I discovered during the bike tests in China. But fortunately those were fixed as well. Now, I am going to tell you exactly what an absolute nightmare this whole experience was for me. So on the Lietuo model, in order to actually go in reverse, you first have to find and press the specific reverse button located on the right handlebar. And then, to get the vehicle to move backwards, you had to physically hold that button down for at least 3 long seconds before anything would happen. So basically, you press and hold the button 1, 2, 3, and only then it starts moving in reverse. For some reason the Chinese designed it this way, maybe so that Europeans wouldn't end up killing themselves. And on top of that, there was an anti-rollback system, which in my opinion didn't work properly. When you're not holding the motorcycle in park, you're just standing still, your motorcycle is on. It's running, everything is on, and the parking brake is off. You try to roll back with your feet, pushing the bike, and it resists. This is supposedly done so that when you're on a hill, you don't roll backwards. Although that's complete nonsense. Imagine if you got a Lietuo bike with these settings. So here you are, the bike is running, and you want to go backwards. You need to move backwards. Let's say there's a car or some obstacle in front of you. You press the button once for a second, nothing happens. You press it several times and still nothing happens. You try to push back with your feet, but the bike pushes you forward. Basically, when I saw this feature, that very same day I started pestering them about it, and I didn't stop until they fixed it, disabled the anti-rollback system and added reverse. If it was less than a second, I just kept pushing them. Because if a high quality product like that had actually reached customers, I truly think we would have gotten a lot of glowing reviews from clients who simply can't reverse on their bikes. The very last drawback, which so far hasn't been fixed, at least not even partially, is that the Lietuo electric motorcycle has these bright LED lights under the side panels. And unfortunately, they're only available in the color blue. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea why they chose that. I asked about it, but that's the answer I got. Why does a large factory, one that manufactures electric motors for famous electric car brands, not have lights in any other color? Whatever, never mind. So basically they only install blue ones. And on bikes with black gloss, well, okay, it still looks alright. Even though it has yellow inserts, it already raises some questions. On a grey-blue bike, it looks great, no questions there. And on a bike that's white with black and blue, it also looks fine. But let's say we put these lights on a bike with red inserts. So your bike is white. It has blue glowing stripes. And on top of that, there are red accents. Well, that's just the Chinese and their design sense. It's honestly a sad story. So what was possible to do? Just disable the setting on those particular color schemes, especially the ones where it looks really tacky. That's it. So that's probably a downside. If you're going to order a bike in black and blue, or white and blue, then the lights look appropriate. If you're ordering a bike in other colors, then we just turn them off, because honestly, it just looks cheap. Now let's take a moment to talk about the main competitors of this impressive electric motorcycle. Or if we are specifically discussing the high-end premium segment of electric sport bikes, then in the price range of up to 1,000,000 rubles, I honestly think we only have the JKU JRX 5000 to consider. But it's really not even close in terms of specs, especially with that terrible gearbox. Now QJ is releasing the RX 7000, which will be without a gearbox, but even so, it still will not match up in terms of specs. So if you want a machine that performs better than the RX, then the Lietuo is likely the only motorcycle available adequate electric sport bikes that can compete with the Lietuo. Can generally only be discovered for about 1.5 million or more, which is nearly double the total cost of the Lietuo. If you compare it with bikes purely by technical specs, with the same technical specifications, the same as Lietuo, then two specific bikes come to mind here, the Senka and the Regeneration. The Regeneration is both more powerful and more expensive, especially when it comes to battery capacity and features like charging from electric car stations. Senka is in the same segment as Lietuo, but again, both Senka and Regeneration are street bikes. If you have a significant enough budget to buy something other than a standard budget electric sport bike, like all those Kawasaki Ninja or Ducati Panigale imitations and the like, and if your budget is even higher than what is required for buying a QJ RX 5000 or a QJ RX 7000, although we do not currently have the pricing details for it yet, the Lietuo is probably the pinnacle of performance for electric sport bikes available today. The only nuance is, I probably wouldn't recommend the Lietuo to people who are really tall, like 1.95 m, 2 meters. I wouldn't recommend it. Because for me, basically it was fine, but I wouldn't take something like that on a long trip. I'm 1.94 meters tall. That's pretty much the borderline, let's say, for the size of the bike. Yes, you can ride it, but in terms of comfort, I would prefer something bigger for myself. As for the quality of the Lietuo electric motorcycle, overall, I'm completely satisfied with it. 99%. If you take a close look at it and compare it with all the other electric motorcycles on the market today, including everything we supply and sell, well, on a scale from 0 to 10, Lietuo easily gets a solid 9. If you really enjoyed watching this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates. No matter which social network you're watching this video on, make sure you don't miss our upcoming reviews.